New question. The member from Parkdale High Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Premier. A few weeks ago, Metrolinx provided an update to its fare integration process. Metrolinx is now looking at basing transit fares in the GTA on fare by distance, like a private taxi company. It's becoming clear that the government's fare integration process is not about transit service, ridership, or the public good. This is about imposing more costs onto riders, especially TTC riders living in places like Scarborough, North York, and Etobicoke. Instead of imposing more costs onto riders, will the Premier restore provincial funding for municipal transit operations as the City of Toronto and the NDP has proposed?
Minister of Transportation.
Minister of Transportation.
Thanks very much, Speaker. I thank the member for the question. I think that member knows that, in fact, what Metrolinx has done is put forward 4 separate concepts or ideas for the fare integration discussion. I should note, Speaker, that in 2014, the mandate letter that I received from the Premier stipulated that moving forward with delivering on fare integration is a critical part of the Ministry of Transportation's mandate. And of course, Speaker, that member, I think all members from the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area would know, Speaker, that in fact providing that notion of integrating the fare system, which is set with respect to the table being set by the Presto fare card fully deployed right across the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area, Speaker, that we are moving towards that fare integration concept. But to the member's question, that is simply one of 4 concepts that is being consulted upon. We look forward, Metrolinx looks forward to getting back with respect to the feedback, and we'll have an update in the coming months. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. This question is again back to the Premier. Because Metrolinx's fare integration process keeps getting more complicated and more convoluted. The minister will know that. Taxi-style transit fares are about helping the government cut costs by imposing those costs onto the riders who rely on transit most. Riders don't want complicated fares where they need a calculator, a ruler, and a map to figure out how much it's going to cost to get to work. They want a simple and affordable fare that lets them travel across the region. Will the Premier guarantee to put riders and the public interest first and restore funding for municipal transit operations as the NDP has proposed? Or not? Yes or no?
Speaker, thanks very much. I thank the member for the follow-up. I can say very clearly in this House that making sure that we take into account the affordability and accessibility concerns of transit users across the region is very, very much top of mind for Metrolinx and for our team at MTO, and we'll continue to keep that top of mind. But, Speaker, really and truly, that member should know, a number of weeks ago, the Premier announced that over the next 4 years, our government will be doubling the gas tax money that the City of Toronto, that all 905 communities, and frankly, Speaker, nearly 100 communities across the province of Ontario that have transit systems will be receiving. That means, Speaker, that by 2021, the City of Toronto will be receiving approximately $340 million from this government to support the expansion of transit, Speaker. Interestingly, the Leader of the NDP's plan to provide transit funding support for Toronto does nothing for the 98 other communities across the province, like Ottawa, like Waterloo, like Vaughan, Speaker, that have transit systems and need our help as well.
Thank you.